You and I had a conversation earlier, and you were telling me a story about premarital counseling that you and your wife had attended before you got married, of course. And I think this also says a lot about the importance and the role of communication when it comes to money. So, would you mind sharing a little bit about that story with us?
Sure. Yeah, my wife and I have been married for 26 years
Wow.
now. And while I don't remember a ton about the counseling that we had to do to get married in the church that we wanted to get married in, one of the things that I definitely remember is that they asked both of us the question of how much are you comfortable with spending without telling your partner, and how much are you comfortable with them spending without telling you. And I said something like $50, and my wife said something like 250 or 300. It was a
Some
really wide
multiple of
difference.
$50.
Yes, yeah. And we were just like, whoa, this is a really huge difference. Why, what's going on? And what happened over the ensuing few minutes is that we kind of talked through it and realized that neither of us had really given any thought to it at all. We just kind of put out numbers that like first popped into our head. But once we had the conversation, we realized that we were basically in the same sort of ballpark, closer to her number, but basically all kind of in the same ballpark. And what really mattered was having that initial conversation to kind of see where we would both land. Because, that's the sort of question that would never have come up outside of that sort of situation, except maybe in like a party game kind of thing where you just
Right,
have conversation starters and like that.
right.
But that was a perfect example of where those sorts of counseling things can be useful. But you don't have to go through those sorts of counseling things to have those conversations, because a lot of times when you are kind of figuring out stuff with your partner, it really is just a matter of kind of talking through things. And some of those kind of party sort of questions, like if somebody gave you $1 million today, what's the first thing you would do with it? Or, other things like that, kind of fun. Like if you won the lottery, what would you do? And
Hmm.
some fun questions like that that are about money, but are really about other things too, that can help really give you some insight into what your partner thinks about money without interrogating them about account balances and credit scores and
Right.
passwords.
Yeah. I'm so glad you mentioned that because I think a lot of times that's what we think of, right? When we think, oh, we have to have a money talk with our partner, we're thinking we got to get out account
Yeah.
statements. We have to look at balances. But that's just a portion of it. And that might be I mean, in some cases, the smallest portion if we're not in agreement on a lot of other things. And if only there was some place where some of these questions were stored that we could easily access.
Exactly. Yes, I know a place that's right over my shoulder.